We're just going to be doing an open forum this evening. It's a little different. Great to see you, Esther. Yay. For anyone that's new, instead of clapping our hands, we just go, yay. Welcome to Life Force Canada. We're finding ways of exploring what you have not been taught instead of what you have been taught. I'm Karen, and our vision here at Life Force Canada is to support parallel societies through the creation of sovereign communities, towns, businesses that have established themselves within the private domain. And when we talk about the private domain, we don't mean private corporation. We're stepping outside of the corpse system. Our purpose is also to co-create the new earth by sharing knowledge and information to collectively exit the corrupt matrix and the 15-minute city agenda. We share strategies. We provide tangible tools and training to unhook ourselves from the control system. And it really all starts with individual sovereignty, which involves self-governance and upgrading our moral standards, really harnessing natural law. We all know that no one is here to save us. This means that it will be up to each one of us to master our emotions, to upgrade our mindset from lack to prosperity, and to really connect to your higher self, who has great wisdom to share with you regarding your own soul path. So you are the only one who can learn the skills to overcome fears that have been programmed into our mind, right? You're the only one who can turn off that TV remote and say yes to taking care of your health. It will only be up to you to make the changes that are necessary. We're being called to let go of bad habits, exchanging them for healthy habits. Again, there are no saviors. It's going to be up to you to learn how to have a learning attitude and learn how to release any and all limited beliefs that do not serve you. This is what self-governance is really all about. We do not need a master telling us what to do. So you're here to tap in and connect to your own divine mind. You then have greater vision, as we explored last Monday, the power of your own divine mind. And that when you have greater vision, you are able to see what is before you. You're able to see a greater truth that's before you. And then you're able to take right action on the path. And we also at Life Force Canada focus on business sovereignty. Here we show you how to create an unincorporated private association to exit your business, your home, your farm, your property from the public domain, which is the government jurisdiction, and accept the rights and responsibilities to function within a private domain. We have amazing courses that show you how to take back your power in all areas, how to discharge debt. We're showcasing that with our private members. We were never ever meant to pay mortgages or any other type of bill. All bills are actually checks. We need to start saying that to ourselves. Hey, I got a check in the mail. Right? And our parents didn't know to question the news or to question their doctor way back in the day. And majority of people, we've been listening to media and learning all that we've learned, and of course we want to believe everything was true, that they would never lie to us ever.
Oops.
Right? But now we know it's difficult to wrap our heads around the idea that the media and the government and politicians and the legal system and the healthcare systems are actually, they actually have an agenda that is not for us, and that they've been deceiving us for a very long time. Well, we welcome you here, our conspiracy family. We see you as truth seekers, explorers, pioneers on the path to freedom. You all have such big hearts, and we really applaud you for that. It's all mind-blowing when you learn the truths of this reality, but it is a necessary journey that we all need to take. And of course, once we've established self-governance and business sovereignty, we then step into community sovereignty. And here you learn how to take back your town with the POG primer. We've had Sheila McFarlane on here, and it's a really important topic that we're going to be showcasing again in the very near future. Since we are having an open forum this evening, let us know what topics you would like us to bring up on these Monday podcasts. And before we get into that, though, we do have a few updates to share. We are going to be having our Sovereign Living workshop on March 9th and 10th. Every system at the top is a criminal organization of pedophiles. So we need to exit their systems and create a parallel society. Hilla, I'll have you raise your hand in regards to sharing more about learning pods. I think that's going to be a great topic in the near future too. So love to have you present on education. It's really important to get the children out of the public school system.
Would love to, for sure.
Thanks, Ella. I've been watching Jim Brewer. I need to laugh because there's so much seriousness in the world right now, but Jim Brewer is a comedian, and oh my gosh, like I have tears rolling down my face. I love how he shares about teenagers. Oh my gosh. So if you need a laugh at all, I would recommend you look at Jim Brewer. I didn't really like him, back when he was on Saturday Night Live. I really never was attracted to anything that he shared, but now he's cleaned up his act and he's really more about family and the truth about what happens in family. And he's very, very, very funny. Okay, last week we had the DMC, Divine Mind Conversation. I received some phenomenal feedback. Thank you for your beautiful words. I just love all of you. And when I facilitate the DMC with my private clients, they usually are not able to talk much after because it triggers a lot of emotion. And so it's a really powerful process. And I will have that replay up sometime this week. And I'll be sending that replay out into our newsletter as well, so that you can have an opportunity to go through it again, or for those who didn't get a chance to be on the call last week, highly recommend. It really allows you to see where your mind is at and the shifts in consciousness that are awaiting you as well. We all came here to experience duality and individualism. We're given a shell, right? An identity. Unfortunately, most people on earth identify themselves as their character, as their straw man. And this is why most people are suffering. So it's easy to be devoured if you're not rooted in the truth of who you are as soul force energy. We can get devoured by the illusions that are being created. And so the demons and angels do not exist in the way we've been showcased in the movies, etc. So they're a part of our mind. And so we need to clear out the weeds so that we can grow a beautiful heaven inside of ourselves. Very, very important. Life is not out to get you. We need to remind ourselves of that. Okay, life is not out there to get me. Life is here to support, right? Life is supporting us continually. But if we're getting caught up in the illusions of life and the dystopian nightmares that they want us to, We can get lost in that. So always bring yourself back to say, life is not out to get me. Life is here to support me. Life is here to show me the path of my true prosperity, to show me the path of who I truly am. Because we are powerful beings, truly powerful, and they just have not wanted us to know how truly powerful we are. Okay, let's just breathe in some life force energy. Letting go, and breathing in again into every cell of your being, and letting go of any anxiety, etc. Okay, so tonight we're having an open forum discussion. Let us know what topics you want to learn about, what your main concerns are, and what changes you believe humanity needs to focus on to create a new Earth. And so you're welcome to raise your hand and share. Rodrigo, you can go ahead. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi. I was actually just wondering if you have any comments on the case of the lawyer in BC, Naomi Arbati.
That's amazing that you bring her name up. We're going to be interviewing her next week. She's going to be right here on the Monday
wonderful.
call.
Okay, good to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Laura Jane is actually going to be interviewing her.
Sounds good. Perfect.
Different guest, yeah.
All right, all right. Right on. Thank you.
You have signed up through our lifeforcecanada.ca website?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so if you've signed up to the website, you'll receive an email. Usually what we do is have someone on here giving a presentation, an expert in different fields, or we, Karen Hanna, or myself, or Laura Jane will offer a presentation. But tonight we just wanted to open up to our beautiful Life First Canada family.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Yes, I'm really excited to have Naomi here. Even though I will be in Mexico, I know it's going to be such a great conversation to have another lawyer that is saying yes to the private domain. Thank you to Doris from Lawyers for Truth for introducing me to her as well. Esther.
I'm really curious if somebody is willing, if you think it's appropriate, to give a short summary of how the Tucker Carlson event was, and just a short summary. I'm so curious. Thank you.
Oh, great question, Esther. Well, I'm sure Laura Jane can share.
Yes, the Tucker Carlson event was fantastic. Sitting with 10,000 like-minded men and women who were all in support of reclaiming our true power was great. His approach, he did a lot of stressing about the fact that he keeps hidden his Canadian roots in Nova Scotia with his family. But I loved his use of humor to actually bring out the key message of we have to stop being so polite. We have to stop giving our power to those who we deem to be in authority. And he basically said, time to start ridiculing them for their ridiculous statements. And that was really good. In the discussion, they had a panel, and there was Tucker. It was moderated by Conrad Black, and Peterson was there as well, Jordan Peterson. He was the other panel member. And so it went quite well. But his message was really one of standing up and the fact that Canada is a corporation. He said a lot of the messages that we already know, but to be doing it from that platform to that many men and women at the same time was very powerful. And in fact, it got quite political, of course, because he spent some time on Trump and the supporting of the Trump campaign. But also it was a bit political because Danielle Smith, who had attended the Calgary event, flew into Edmonton and actually did a speech in the at the opening. So I welcome anyone else who is there to comment, but I just found that the messages were really one of stand up, take back, like that's the big one. And how his method of putting perspective on those that we have given our power to was really priceless. That's what I found really helpful. Yeah. So with that, I'll yield.
Thank you, Laura Jane. Great question, Esther. Thank you. Jeff, go ahead. Welcome, Jeff.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson event, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you, Laura, for bringing that up. I think that exposure really, I would imagine the Liberal polls dropped the next day. To hear that summary from a man like that by surprise was really amazing. And of course, it's one more thing that gave us hope to really think that we're winning. We're really winning this thing. Especially when he summarized things that involved our Agenda 2030. And I've been working with Sheila McFarland. I'll tell you, that's been an honor. Pushing the Druthers papers out, I mean, we packed hundreds of thousands last Wednesday. And I got 5,000 right here. We're pushing back. We're winning this thing. Little by little. At one point, people used to say, well, can you just dumb it down and not talk above us? We don't understand the agenda, the municipal primer, the municipal act, and all that. Now I'm finding these people, I'm asking them questions. So when that happens, it's a trigger to say, wow, there's people catching on and they're a lot smarter than me. And that really excites me. We're having town halls. We got 8 boards here. We're in a single tier municipality, very large geographical area. Our next one is tomorrow night. Our first one was last Wednesday, and we had a lot of constituents there, and they brought forward their problems. And, Agenda 2030 or 21, it ties into every part of our life. And when I heard these stories, it just reassured that we're on the right track. And this is probably the single most thing that's going to turn this country around is when we get rid of these evil elites that are running this country under a fraudulent situation. When our voices can be heard at the municipal level, and I believe that's the first place because that's where all the sustainable development goals are implemented. When we can hear it there and reverse engineer some of these evil contracts, this is going to snowball coast to coast. So I'm really happy. And it's groups like this, really, that really show, Life Force Canada shows that people are connected coast to coast with similar like-minded views and similar goals. And it's really been an honor to be in a group like this. Thank you very much for allowing me to express that.
Thank you, Jeff. Whereabouts are you again?
I live in Omemee, a small town. We're in the municipality, one of the townships of the city of Kawartha Lakes. So basically Peterborough, Ontario.
Right.
I live just a few miles from Maggie Hope Braun, and that's what actually, back in June when I met her, she got me doing the research on Agenda 2030. And with having her and Sheila McFarland, I had to jump up to it. And now I'm finding that same initiative is spreading coast to coast.
Well, we would look forward to videos if you want to send me some videos of, people stepping forth.
Oh, I can't even keep up on it. I mean, right now I just got off of Zoom and there's one more. But I must say, this one here has got some really a lot of knowledge capital in this group, and you can't put a price on it.
Excellent. We would love to share that with our tribe as well. Thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Stay in touch.
Absolutely. I do truly believe that the town is where our power is at. And as we begin to overcome our fear of facing town councils and showing them that we know who we are, then all of this is going to end. And of course, we know that the federal government, the provincial government, they all know, and beyond, right? I mean, government is such a small, tiny part of the whole pyramidal structure, but they all know the power is with the people, and they don't want us coming together collectively because, yeah, it's all the systems begin to crumble because we know we don't need them anymore. Thanks, Jeff. Hi, Todd. Is it iPhone Todd?
Hi there, everybody. I'd just like to introduce myself and extend my gratitude for your hard work. I haven't had an opportunity to join your Zooms very often. I've been very busy doing my own freedom fighting. So I'll just give a quick introductory who I am and what I'm doing. I'm affiliated with many, and I would say over 8, maybe 10 different freedom groups all over the world. I'm presently still just doing freedom fighting, and I mentioned gematria for a reason. I wanted to just get on here and let everybody know that I don't know exactly how in the world of knowledge you guys are as to what's going on in the world. So I wanted to ask that question, and then I wanted to kind of give my take on what's going on and how I might be of service. So my assumptions are personal, but my research has gone down pretty much all the rabbit holes you can imagine. So I'm familiar with Agenda 2030, Agenda 2021, signed by Brian Mulroney, Stephen Harper. I'm fully aware of gematria and the coding of the enemy, if you will, in color, in hand signals, and in gematria and many ciphers. I am very well versed in knowing exactly where we are in the timeline of eschatology, which I think I'd like to ask you guys if you are aware of these things that are taking place in the world and the prophecies that are unfolding in regards to what was prophesied and what's happening in this timeline. So I'd also like to ask if you're aware of the global events that are taking place and other communities that are trying to join forces, so to speak, and look at different ways of living off the grid. So I've welcomed freedom fighters out to my land. We've discussed living off the grid, and I'm very familiar with the fictitious grammar and the maritime amnesty law, common law, Black's law, and the breakdown of this system and what's coming. So I think I have a lot of information to share. If you want to reach out to me, I'm available to you. And I don't want to take too much of your chat, but I want you to clearly understand for you and your viewers and your group that things are most likely going to get a lot worse before they get better. And I'm very well aware of their plan and agenda. And basically, I'm here to kind of warn you and be of service to you that they plan to destroy this country, our economic system, and literally depopulate the planet. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you guys are aware of some of these things, but if anybody wants to ask any questions regarding what we're doing here in Alberta and what their agenda is to divide Canada into many provinces and many mini countries, and their tactics, if you will, I've studied the enemy quite extensively, and I found a very consistent behavior and their gematria codes and communication. So I just wanted to put my hello out there to everybody, and I wanted to let you know that although I don't know what you guys are doing just yet, and I'm still investigating what you guys are doing, I'm not in any vetting process, but I am in a learning process as well to see what other groups are doing and what level of understanding they're in this great reset, if you will. So, hello, everybody. And I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. I'm not quite sure if you are aware of some of these things and at what level of understanding you are. So I'm just going to leave that open, and that for anybody who wants to ask me questions, or maybe you could kind of welcome me in some way that what you're aware of, so that I could not waste your time and maybe help you, or maybe you could help me. So thank you, everybody. Hello, everybody from Alberta, Canada. I'm up in Grande Cache, and I live in Edson. So I'm in a small community, and I'm working with, like I said, many different groups on many different levels. So thank you. And I'll put my email address in the chat for people who could contact me. I do videos on YouTube, mostly about eschatology, because I've moved in that direction, because so far all of the prophecy and information I'm getting is most accurate. So I work on many different levels. I've kind of dropped out of the fighting in the court system and fighting in protesting and in the different genres, because I think I found a more effective way to fight this war. So I will share the groups as well. I just wanted to introduce myself, and then with the permission of your group, I will introduce these other groups that I think we should all coordinate with. And I should also, in closing, be very politically correct when I say this, but I hope you guys realize that most of these groups, and not, I don't know anything about your group, but every group that I've entered and assessed and spoke with and looked at have been infiltrated, meaning you have people that are watching your communications, assessing your threat level, and the enemy is very creative in breaking up these beautiful freedom movements. And I wondered if you were aware of infiltration and have you experienced that. So I kind of threw a lot of questions at you. So I'm on a learning process about your group as well. So I'm going to mute, and then maybe somebody could kind of fill me in about where you guys are and what you're doing. I'm kind of familiar so far from watching your last Zoom, but I would sure love to learn more about you. So I'm going to mute, and thank you, and bless all of you for all your hard work and your, what I would consider your spiritual need to help humanity and just take charge and guide each other in this most difficult time. So thank you.
So thank you for being here. First of all, I just want to ask you, how did you find Life First Canada?
I'm not sure. I have been openly approaching all freedom groups. So I've been in touch with the Native community, the Native elders. I protested at the closing of the churches. I've been protesting at the Alberta legislative grounds with the Native communities. I've reached out to all of the elders, GPMS, Constitution conventions, Canadian communities. I forget exactly their names, but everybody's in their own groups creating their own futures. But I found that a lot of them and their unique names, it's almost too many to remember. So the next time I would come onto your Zoom, I'll come more prepared and actually bring you a list of all of the groups that I've been working with. And these are global groups as well. I've talked to people in South Africa and in United Kingdom. And so a lot of these groups are now starting to wake up to the severity of this and the complexity of this So I'm trying to promote disclosure through gematria and through the coding and the breaking down of the media. And I do believe I have some tactical advantage that I would love to share with you regarding how to bring this house of cards down, if you will.
Thank you so much, Todd. I'm grateful to have you here. And yes, our members here are very wise. They've been down most likely every rabbit hole. We did start, I started Life Force Canada in 2020, in September, with my friend Sandra. We originally were a part of Life Force Global, which was with Kim Gogan, and we were with her for about a year and a half, and I was able to connect and be with incredible freedom lovers and from many, many countries. It was phenomenal, and all the work that we were doing across Canada, our country was #1 in regards to letting go of the system that Kim Gogan had created, and to create a republic, basically. And it was phenomenal. I was part of what was called the PGSD team. So I was showcasing Canada, and there was a leader from every country that was a part of it. It was so inspiring. There was people from Singapore and different areas in Africa, and if the government ever found out what they were doing, they would be beheaded. So I was always inspiring our team, there's no excuses for what we're doing. But then Kim Gogan just cut the cord on every project that we were doing. So I knew right then that that was infiltration. And it was all designed to cut down every freedom movement that was happening at that time. And I was on a personal call with her 6 months prior to us cutting the cord, and she didn't want anything to do with Canada. I was sharing what our group was doing. She didn't care at all. And so I knew that she was part of the dark forces that were here to infiltrate and allow for freedom movements to get us to a certain level and then cut them out. So we lost a lot of our members in Life Force Canada when we said no to her, because a lot of people in Canada still believed in her. And we just had to say, no, thank you. We're going to now just focus on Canada, focus on sovereignty here in our country. And it took a long time for us to get back on track again. But now I'm so glad that we did that, because when we did, a lot of the freedom movements in Canada started to come on board and say, hey, we see you, we see what you're doing, and we support you. And so we've been able to interview a lot of the people that are leading the way in Canada as well. So it's been an amazing journey. And now I'm so grateful for the family that we do have, because we're all supporting each other. And we all are involved in different pillars here. So there's people who are really focused on the education system and, exiting the public school system, homeschooling, etc., exiting out of the banking system and discovering what that's going to look like in gold-backed currencies, tokens, etc., bartering. We've had so many amazing experts on here in regards to letting go of the political realm, because we know that the both left and right are all the same party, the same dark force. And we've been just really focused on exiting from the public jurisdiction and over into the private domain. But yeah, we would love to hear more about you. So yeah, if you can send me an email, Todd, actually email Karen Hanna, and she'll set up a time when you can give us a presentation. That would be fantastic. Our power is in being together.
Yes, I just noticed somebody had mentioned currencies as well. We have dealt with Native communities and created a currency based on the wargle, which is a depreciating currency. It eliminates all greed. We've worked on many different levels about meme warfare, psychological warfare, and reversing this. And so I hope to be able to present something to you a little later on. I'm just one guy, but I know so much about how the enemy's working, especially gematria. We really need to kind of break that apart and get people well versed in this. I think when people realize to the extent of which everything is fake, that'll speed up this process of waking people up. So I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. I follow Truth Mafia and their geometry. I really was inspired when they broke down the movie Leave the World Behind. It was phenomenal. So yeah, it's so true. Everything, we've been sharing this for years now. Everything in this realm is fake, and we cannot be attached to it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and to really discover our true power within. So thank you, Todd, for being here. Appreciate it. Samuel, thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak a bit. I've attended a few sessions in the past, maybe about half a dozen in about 2 or 3 years, and I've found them very, very enjoyable, and I learned a lot from them. I just wanted to speak a little bit about what Todd said. First of all, I admire everything that he's doing. He certainly is working extremely hard and getting information and going down all these rabbit holes. I admire you tremendously. I just wanted to jump on a little thing that you said about their agenda of trying to destroy, the economy, let's say, for example. And I believe, since everything as we're being told is fake, if it's all been fake, it must be destroyed. And that's why it's kind of it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? I mean, it has to be destroyed because it has to be brought down and rebuilt, right? By the good guys, obviously not by the bad guys, not by the monsters, not by the evil controllers of the world who create all these fake things. And I do say I spend a lot of time online, mostly in the States and not as much in Canada. And I firmly believe that our two countries are linked, very much so. And I do believe that, for example, this character who's pretending to be Biden is not Biden. So if he is not Biden, who the hell is he, right? And that's why if you're saying it's doom and gloom and everyone is trying to destroy us and kill us and control us and hurt us and maim us and like you said, they want to depopulate, that's pretty serious. And I do believe that in the depopulation agenda as being a tactic, and it was supposed to happen, especially with the shots and everything like that. We know a lot of that stuff, but the system has been evil. It's food, it's the banking system, it's everything. Medical system, pharmaceutical system, every system in the world has been designed to control us and to maim us and then bring us back to health, riding in their white horses to say, oh, we've got a cure for you, take this medication. And we know natural is the way to go and not synthetic medication. And that's just an example. So what I just wanted to comment, because I really do believe, not that anyone's going to come and save us. We shouldn't be passive. That's the worst thing we could do is being passive and say, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Trump's going to come and save us and all this kind of stuff. No, I'm not a Trumpian in that I don't like the macho character, and that's what he always portrays. And I find that a turnoff. But at the same time, it's not about me. It's about the system. And I do believe that he is being brought in by the US military to fix things, okay? And that's why they brought in, if you can believe it or not, the fake Biden. I don't believe fake Biden is an evil man. He pretends to be an evil man, and he's bringing down the economy, which seems like a bad thing, but he's bringing it down so that it can be rebuilt, okay, by the good forces wherever they are. And I truly believe that the Americans are in charge, and we're just a subset of America, and it's all going to be fine. Not that anyone's coming to save us, right? I do all the work myself too, and I don't believe in anything, right? I'm totally natural and try to take care of my own health. I don't trust the system. I don't trust the people, who want to control us, right? So I'm not saying to trust anybody, but I am saying that the system is being repaired. And I do believe, bottom of my heart, that that's why Trump stepped aside. If you think that there was election fraud in 2020, Sure, it seemed like there was fraud, but he stepped aside because the system had to be brought down under this fake Biden guy. And Trump, ever since then, has been yelling and screaming, look at this guy. If I was president, this never would have happened. And that's what he's been saying for 3 years until it's monotonous already. But he's been saying it because, he has that to point to, just like he points to Putin and Ukraine and every other skirmish that's going on in the world. He says, under my presidency, I was the first president that didn't have a war. Okay, under my presidency. Now you see the world falling apart. But I believe it's falling apart by design. There's a big difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's positive. It's not like they're all coming to get us and to kill us. I believe it's by design the world is coming down, and then it's going to be rebuilt up from the bottom up properly, the way it should have been, and it hasn't been for the last several thousand years. So I just wanted to lend a little bit of positivity, and because doom and gloom could be frightening, right? And I'm not saying we should just do nothing. That's the worst thing we can possibly do. But at the same time, I wanted to put a little bit of balance. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samuel. Appreciate your words. And yes, all of these systems need to collapse right now because they're not based in truth. So it's an exciting time to be alive right now because we're going to be witnessing the collapse of everything that is false and untrue in our reality. So even the things in our own life that we believe is true and it might not be. And so this is the individual sovereignty that when we can really look at our own lives, then we'll be able to allow for the outer world and the collapse of the outer world to fall with more ease and grace, because we'll recognize within ourselves the necessity of it all. Thank you, Samuel, for being here. I do also believe, too, that the political realm is two wings of the same beast, the left wing and the right wing. And left wing and the right wing, they have all gone to school together and they're all part of the same family as well. And so I think that we really need to be careful on the energies that we put forward and into the political realm, because they take a lot of our power away if we believe the stories that are being created, because we know that the media never tells the truth, that it's always scripted. So whatever we're seeing on the news, it's all theater. It's all theater. None of it's real. It's all acting, scripted stories. And so we're because it's all designed to keep you from looking within at your own power. Hello, Charm. Barbara, go ahead.
Hello. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Jump in. Well, I'll give a little spiel on my thoughts about what the hell I think is going on. I mean, I've been, I sit over here and honestly, I kind of laughed when you mentioned, Karen, about how you ended up leaving Life Force Global or whatever it is. I jumped on there once because everybody was talking about it, and I listened to Kim for 20 minutes, and she was talking about, being in control of all the money in the world and all this bullshit. I listened to it for 20 minutes. I said, this is bullshit, and I got off, and I never went back. Like right away, my little spidey senses went, no, this is nonsense. She is not who she says she is. I think she needs some medication. Whatever. And I mean, I think one of the things that keeps me coming back here is that all the people that are like following Kim, like I'm not going to be on that train. So this train that was, kind of walked away from Kim, I'm like, okay, that might be the train I want to be on.
Thank you.
So I keep coming back here. So that's just a little trivia information for you about my thing on Kim. But I kind of like, I find, you know, that one fellow that was talking, I mean, that's what I find really hard is like, who's who and what's what, and you know, who's real and who's not, and who can you believe, and what groups are actually just here to distract us, and what groups are here to help us, and you know, like I can't even figure it out. And you know, I mean, my brother helps me to kind of like keep sane, and coming here helps me to keep sane. I mean, if nothing else, I mean that. But I started looking at really globally what's going on. So, you know, I did a lot of research on the World Economic Forum. I follow everything that's going on in Africa pretty closely. What's going on in Europe with all the farmers, they're all farmers in all these countries. I mean, they're just taking over the cities and everything like that. They've got, there's a live right now. I can't remember where I saw it, but there's a live right now at the EU Parliament. They're surrounded by farmers, and they're dumping whatever. I guess they're probably going to dump poop and whatever, you know, manure or whatever on there. And you know, the media, all even alternative media, they all have different comments about what's going on. Some of them act like these guys know what's going on, and I kind of think, okay, well, how many of these rallies are funded by Soros, and how many of them is the people really know what's going on? And I think it's a real mix too, like even at that level, that some of it's funded, you know, funded controlled opposition, and some of it's actually real people that do know what's going on. So it's kind of a real mess. And you know, there are hopeful things. Like there's a guy, there's a one country in Africa, Burkina Faso. They had a young guy. He's only, I think he's like 35 or something, or 30, or I don't know. He's really young. He took over the country. He's the leader of the army there, and they kicked France. They're kicking all these whatever globalists and everybody out of their country. They don't want their money. They don't want their, you know, whatever. They don't want anything. They actually hooked up with Putin, but they're kicking out the ECOWAS. I don't know. It's a African, like there's a bunch of people in Africa that are pushing for Africa to be one region, and he's like, no, I don't want to be part of ECOWAS. I don't want to be part of any of these groups that are working with the whatever, the cabal or whatever. We don't want any part of any of it. He's basically telling them all to bugger off. I'm here for my people. And you know, I've learned a lot about the history of Africa that we did not know. We have learned there's so much bullshit that we have been told about all of these leaders of Africa that were actually fighting for their people, you know, for them to be able to make money and have an income and have a good life. And you know, most of them have been killed if they were doing anything good for their country. And this guy really, I mean, he's genuine. I'm just like so impressed by him. And then there's some politicians that are kind of working like globally, like Christine Anderson, and there's some people like, whether it's EU Parliament or different governments. So I follow them because they kind of talk about what's actually going on. And I mean, to some degree, that does give me hope. And you know, there's this thing too. I can't remember what the system was, but there was some kind of a thing that was foretelling the future, and these globalists kept trying to do it over and over and over again and get this thing to give them the answer that they wanted, was that they were going to win and we were all going to die and all this kind of stuff. And they never could get that answer. They've never been able to get that answer. And I think that, like, you know, this is how I think about it. First of all, what they don't want countries. They want regions with 7 appointed leaders, but they will be in control, and those leaders will have to follow them. And the reason why it isn't going to work is because, you know, Klaus Schwab has been blowing smoke up Jinping's ass, saying, you know, he should be the leader of the New World Order. But Jinping will not be, he's not going to let them order him around. And Putin is not going to let them order him around. Like, these people are not, they're not people that are going to be subsumed under some other leader, you know, some other world leader. They're not going to go for it. So in the end, it's all going to blow up in their face, as far as I'm concerned. But they want the old style, like they had in Italy or in Europe, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, when they just had one big, you know, the emperor or whoever the hell, the king, whoever it was. And then they had all these like little towns. You know, we have our global mayors. The little towns, the global mayors would control the city, the 15-minute city, and the people that are in it until they kill them or whatever. But basically, they just have the mayors, and the mayors have been getting more and more power at the municipal level, and they just want that one leader. They do not. They want 7 regions, 5 currencies, and these mayors who are going to tell us all what to do. I mean, they don't want countries. They don't want any of that. They don't want borders. Why do you think they're all flushing across the border? They want to get rid of the borders and, you know, just erase all of that. that's kind of my opinion of what's going on. And but like I say, I mean, it gets really overwhelming because of the technology, and because I'm like, how big is their AI army? And but you see all of that, and it's very hard not to be overwhelmed. And I mean, I think that's one thing, Karen, I really like your own personal voice is to remind us that we are the Goliath, not them, you know? And that's why I don't get here lots, but I like to come to this meeting because I know you know that we are the Goliath, you know?
Yes.
And I think that's the thing we really have to remember. And I mean, I find, you know, like Tucker Carlson said, we got to forget about being nice, and we have to deal with the damn pit of snakes. That's all there is to it. There has to be a way to deal with it.
So appreciate you. Awaken the giant within. I love it. Thank you so much. Yes, we have so much power. And if we look at the past reset, Tartaria, when they destroyed Tartaria, what's coming out is that Tartaria was the first. I mean, there's been many resets. I think that that was the sixth reset. And Tartaria at the time, free energy, the buildings, etc., that were being created, the beauty that was being created all across the realm was the most that we have, as humanity, has ever experienced in regards to freedom. And then the reset happened. And so apparently there is a reset anytime that there is a spiritual heightened awareness or a mass awakening that's about to occur. And we are in a mass awakening right now, and they don't want us to waken up, because if we do wake up, then they lose control. And so, of course, that's what COVID was here to stop the masses of waking up. But I do believe that, well, it goes beyond believing to this remembering that we are going to be waking up, and they will not have any control over us at all, because they, as you said, Barbara, they are afraid of love. They are afraid of our true spiritual power. Thank you. Frank, go ahead.
Hey, thanks. So a few comments. My first comment, I don't know, I'm pretty flabbergasted by the Kim comment. I had no clue. I really had no clue. I just thought the group separated because they did, because I've actually been listening to some of their news, and now it's all making sense, because there's a lot of stuff that was said that never seems to happen, and it's starting to rub me the wrong way. Which brings me to my next point, and in my opinion, this whole Trump thing's a psyop, right? This guy's a Zionist. Like, look at where he went to school.
Yes.
And look what he was preaching at the beginning of the jabs. He was preaching that, like, he's not no savior. He's a psyop, in my opinion. And you know, I if he was that much of a threat, he wouldn't be breathing.
Yes.
We all know that. With
Yes.
that, I yield.
Thank you, Frank. Yes, in regards to Kim, you know, we let go in, I can't remember now, 2021, end of 2021. And we just basically had a conversation here, because it's the carrot and the stick. And again, we're all here to save ourselves. And as we uplift our own psyche, our own mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of ourselves, then we can support others moving forward and share our truth and really assist in the fullest expression of the heart. And I didn't find the heart in Life First Global. And now witnessing how many leaders have been let go in Life First Global, the truth is starting to come out. And it will for everything. The truth is going to be showcasing itself. The house of cards is going to fall for everyone and every group in this realm. And truth is going to be revealed, whether we want to see it or believe it or not. And that's going to be sometimes a hard pill to swallow, because a lot of people have been wearing the blinders and not wanted to see the true reality, going beyond the 10% light spectrum. But yeah, the veils are going to be dropping. I'm very excited for where humanity's going. And of course, we're going to be going through hell. But again, hell is within the mind. So if we free our mind, we free our mind from the illusions of what they're showcasing on the television. We just throw the television out. I don't even have one in my house. Just throw it out. We're going to allow ourselves to deepen into greater truth and be able to handle it from a higher level when anything destructive happens out there. Because your life force, and if we're vibrating at a high frequency, the dark forces are not even going to see you because you're vibrating at a higher level of consciousness. The dark cannot see you, and the demonic forces, they do not like love. So all we need to do is be in our love vibration. And they're going to be over there looking for the persons, right? They're going to be looking for the fake characters. That's what they're not going to be looking for, the living man or woman, because they can't see the living man and woman in this realm. They can't see them. They can only see persons. And so we're letting go of being a person and really stepping into our soul energy, life force energy. Yay. Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I agree too, that things are collapsing, things are falling down, and there's a rebirth happening, and that's all great. I agree with a lot of comments that have been made. However, why I'm coming on to say something right now is um kind of like in the email that we received, it was like, what are your interests? Where do you want to see us go in terms of like things to bring up and talk about? And for me, I'd like to dig in a little bit more and drill down into more of the bills of exchange, that sort of thing, and discharging debt, actually buying things like that guy who bought the truck, we heard about that story. Okay, that kind of a thing. I'd want to like move in on that. And the more we talk about it, the more conversant we are about that, more we can wiggle out these details. And as you know, I've already signed up for a couple of the courses. There's one coming up with Susan Brierley. I'm really excited about that. And then also the other one, Sovereign Living. But those are just like little kind of like vignettes. But I'd like to spend more time with more people offering more information so there's more to digest in terms of working out the nuances to make this happen, and more people are more comfortable so that we can have a more of more action, more movement, and the more that happens, the more feedback we get and the more prolific it will become. So that's my view, and that's what I'll throw out there. And also, I'm excited about what's happening too. It's a great thing. I'm watching this, and it's just like, wow, what a time to be around. And we're gonna watch these guys go down. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, there's gonna be a kick and a fight and a battle and all the rest, but hey, that's the drama of it all. Let's embrace it. I'm all for it. Thanks.
Excellent, Aaron. Love your attitude. Good. Yes, at our Sovereign Living 2-day workshop, Laura Jane is going to be sharing the bill of exchange and also mortgages, because that is going to be a key piece moving forward. We have now a template for mortgages, but this again is a reminder that what we're hearing in regards to the financial collapse or whatever, the housing market, if people are going to be experiencing foreclosure or the banks are coming after them, to demanding money for their home, then we have discovered a powerful template that you can give to your mortgage, your institution, and they cannot take your house away at all. It's happening in the England or the home. They know what to say, and we just have to have this template to know what to say. And they're not taking their homes. They cannot, because it's illegal. It's fraud. And so it's a really powerful conversation that Laura Jean's going to have on in the Sovereign Living Weekend Workshop. So thank you for
I didn't know that they were going to be talking about bills of exchange during that workshop, and I'm glad.
Thank you, Aaron. Absolutely. We're researching it all. Hi, Todd.
Hello again. I was just going to ask one more thing. If everybody here or anybody here has looked at the eschatology side of this, the prophecies that are unfolding, and what your take or anybody's take on this, because that's kind of where I'm at lately, is looking at the question is, are they using the Bible as a template? Are they fulfilling Bible prophecy unbeknownst to them? Because what I've found is quite astounding, with everything that has been prophesied. And just so we're clear, I'm not religious. I'm not a church-going person. I'm studying the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Torah, the Book of Enoch, the Apocrypha. I'm going deep down many different eschatology avenues, and I've noticed a consistent thing taking place here, where every blood moon, every earthquake, every celestial event, something very dramatically has happened. And so I'm curious if people know about the event coming up on the eclipse, within regards to the superb owl or the Super Bowl and these other rituals. And if anybody could, just kind of enlighten me or kind of exemplify where you guys see some of this eschatology or prophecy, or if you are even looking at that. So I'll yield.
I personally look at it. I do believe there's quite a few of our members that do, but we would love for you to present on a Monday call and share your wisdom. Okay, this has been a fantastic conversation. I just want everyone to close their eyes so we can leave this call on a high vibe note. So we're just gonna breathe, focusing on your breath. And just breathing into the count of 5. And breathing out to the count of 5. Just allowing yourself to sit in the silence for just a moment. And just saying to yourself, I'm in tune with the cosmic rhythm. My ability to attract all that I desire is limitless. My ability to attract all I desire is limitless. I am fully aligned with my higher self. I am fully aligned with my higher self. I create my life in the image of love, health, wealth, peace, and joy. I create my life in the image of love, health, wealth, peace, and joy. I'm feeling relaxed and centered. I'm feeling relaxed and centered. And so it is. I'm just going to leave you with this quote from Alan Watts. I have realized that the past and future are real illusions, that they exist in the present, which is what there is and always is. Thank you, everyone. Together we rise.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you, everyone.
You'll have lots to share. When, Kara?
Thank you.
I'm back from Mexico. I'm going to
Okay.
the Coco event.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. You said that.
Love to hear about that.
Yes, yes, I am very, very excited. I am in a workshop with Andrew Kaufman. Terrain.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm gonna now press end meeting. Have a good day. Okay. Love
Good
you.
night, everybody.